We have a great set of speakers here today. The theme is innovation. And the first topic about innovation is, of course, the people, and what type of people we need as leaders in this new century that we're walking into. That's a really hard question to answer, and we need a guide to help us understand and paint that picture. So our guide today is Ayelet Baron. Please welcome Ayelet.
Thank you so much. I love being in a place where people can actually pronounce my name and not ask me where it's from. I really want to talk to you about something that's really important and dear to my mind. 3 years ago, I fired myself from corporate America. I was an executive working in a large high-tech company and helped to get it to, I worked in Cisco and helped to get Canada to the #2 largest revenue generating country for Cisco. We were at #6 when I started, and I thought, I need to do something different. Then I got invited by United Airlines to an event in San Francisco, and I was like, why are you being so nice to me? I don't really understand what's going on. And they said, congratulations. I said, what? They said, you're one of the top 100 flyers in the San Francisco Bay Area. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear or not, but I'm Israeli. So I said, oh shit, I need a new job. And here I am. I want to talk to you about a really important topic around leadership. And one of the things I see in the world is that we have an abundance of titles out in the world, but what we're missing is a lot of leadership. And if we look across different sectors and industries and businesses and places, we have a very antiquated definition of what leadership is, and we have a huge opportunity. Last week I was working on my book in St. Thomas, life could be harder, and I met a young man who was very frustrated with his job. He graduated, came back to St. Thomas, started to work with startup. He was really excited because the CEO was co-located with him in the same office, but he could never get any of the time of the CEO. And this young guy, when he decided to go and work in business, decided to cut his hair. He had this beautiful long hair, and he decided that he was going to cut his hair and give it away to charity. And he started a campaign where he raised over $9,300 by cutting his hair. So this is a really cool young guy who, while I was there, I helped him quit his job and really pursue a passion of his to look at what leadership is. And one of the challenges we have today is we're still using 20th century, I'm being kind, I think it's probably more like 19th century, antiquated management practices in how we work. We're constantly trying to compete, we're constantly trying to take something away from someone else. A speaker here earlier talked about their competition. I think it's a great time to have competition. I think it's a great time to be alive. This is like the best time to be alive in the world because of technology, we live in an open and connected world, and we could connect with anyone, anywhere in the world. And what are we doing? What we're doing is we're looking for best practices. Everybody's in search of the best practices. Now, if I started a company and I wanted to use the best practices of Tesla or Google or any other company, I wouldn't be able to because my culture is unique, and many of the speakers talked about culture and values. And one of the things that we need to really realize is that cookie cutters and best practices really work well when we're making gingerbread men in the kitchen. But we really need to understand the culture. We really need to understand what our organization is about, and we need a new mindset. We heard about solving problems, and that's what the business we're in is. It's not about the startup, it's not about getting the money. It's about what problems are we trying to solve and how do we get people around us to help us solve them. And what's happening is industries themselves are becoming 20th century. If you think about it, what business is Google in? Is it in advertising? Is it transportation? Is it in healthcare? If you look at this healthcare, who would have thought that Disney would be in the healthcare and wellness business? All these industries that we're thinking about are blurring. And what's really great news about it is it's a great opportunity for us because for the first time we live in a world in abundance. We have everything we need, every possibility we have. And I bet you this little rabbit has enough carrots for the rest of her life. And she's probably hungry because she's so overwhelmed by the abundance of what's possible and what's out there. So I want to welcome everyone here today to the 21st century. And the 21st century is an unbelievable, exciting place because it's a time when we can create and make things on the edge. And what we need to do is leave the world of the 21st century scarcity. Many organizations today, probably more the larger organizations, are living in a world of fear, of scarcity. There's not enough. I got to take something away from someone else to create something new. I got to compete. I got to see what the market share is. I need to look at how to do it. Where in the real world, we're living in abundance, and the abundance isn't about money. The abundance is about people. The abundance is about possibilities. It's about creating new markets, new services, and new offers out there. And when we start thinking about leadership, one of the biggest crises we have around leadership is we forgot the purpose, right? We've got, I remember a day when the VP of marketing the senior VP of marketing came to me and said, "What are you doing in social media? Social media is marketing." And I said to her, rule number 1 of social media is everybody owns social media, and rule number 2 of social media is no one owns social media. And so if we don't really understand within our organization what's our purpose, how are we going to market, how does that leader bring the people around it, we're going to be continuing in the top-down hierarchical organizations. Community becomes so important. And for any of you who are in startups here, no one has invented the social network or the community that we really need for the 21st century leader, where it's ruled by collaboration and conversation and bringing people together around shared purpose. Most of the social networks we have today are based on advertising models that are false. I don't know about you, but I could only have so many friends, so many connections, so many stalkers. We don't really have the communities that we need out there that are based on purpose. And then we need the leaders who really understand what does it mean to build community. I was talking to a senior VP recently who said, oh my God, I am really scared because I understand that networks and communities are becoming more important, but I don't know how to do it. And then collaboration becomes much more important in terms of facilitating conversation. I will predict here the death of the annual employee survey. And so where the future we're heading is, this is a really simple methodology. I've been an innovator in residence at a large pharmaceutical company this past year, and we put this methodology into Notion of how do we find the right people internally and externally to have the right conversations, which means we solve problems and create opportunities together, and then we're able to co-create. Once we have a connected network, and we've done this, we're able to build trusted communities, which are at the heart. We have a deficit of trust today in the world. And what we look at is, what is your credential? It was really interesting for me to watch people, as I left Cisco, to watch kind of how they look at the jar I'm in and the tag I'm in. And I've decided that the next event I'm going to, my title is going to be janitor, because I want to see who actually talks to me. And those are probably the people that I want to talk to. So authenticity, agility, and two-way conversations in the 21st century world become much, much more important. And unfortunately, we don't know how to do it. And if you think about it, most of the tools and the technologies we have, we're doing the advertising again. We're yelling at people. We're not really collaborating and connecting with people. And we're leading with the technology and tools instead of integrating them in how we work. So we just did a process around working out loud and decreased meetings by 50% just by looking at how does technology enable us versus how does technology drive us. And then our measurement systems, how we define success is antiquated. We need to stop measuring activity. We need to stop ticking crap off our lists. And we need to start looking about the impact that we're making and the co-creation, because when you really have the right people at the right time, having the right conversations, that's where innovation comes from. And the thing we need to let go most of is fear. And I know that's hard to talk to an Israeli audience, because fear is in the DNA of how to deal with it. But in the rest of the world, in the world of scarcity, in terms of management practices, fear is huge. And we need to let go of that fear because it's the ability to create. And I don't know about you, but I really would love to live in a post-hero society where every single person on earth is a leader. I don't want to live in a world of hierarchies that just because your title says you're whatever C-level, that means that you're a leader. That's not the real leaders. And if you look at how work is changing, if you look at the fact that by 2020, we're going to have 50% of the workforce in the United States be contingent, there's huge changes ahead and huge opportunities for new heroes to connect the workforce. So my ask of you is, somehow when it comes to business, we've kind of lost a little bit of common sense. We've kind of created all these new terms and all these new technologies. I would like us to come back and really lead with common sense and realize that what's old is new. And leadership isn't old. It's been around forever. And we need to come back to our common sense when we come together for leadership. So I look forward to leading the world with all of you. Thank you.